Are you living with purpose, passion, and making a difference in your life's journey? Well, you've come to the right place. The X Factors to Success podcast radio show. Great day to you all, and welcome to the X Factors to Success podcast radio show. I am your host, Ruggero Fratarcangeli, also known as the G-Man. And today's episode, we have a very, very special guest. But before I introduce you to the guest, I want to remind everyone, you are tuning in to the X Factors to Success. Why? There are 5 major pillars in the X Factors: faith, family and friends, fitness, finance, and fun. And today, our guest will be talking about all those 5 factors, especially in the faith category. But she is so a successful person. Well, let me just lay it on to you. She's a healer, speaker, a hypnotherapist, and author, and a transformational motivational speaker. Her journey started in self-help back in 1998. Well, when she was first a peer counselor. And to this date, she has been featured for her work in the national TV blogs and talk radio and internet magazines. She is committed to help those who are gifted and on a mission to get ready, unite, and work together towards a common goal. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the beautiful, the wonderful Abigail Aguilera.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Ruggero. What a pleasure to be talking to you and seeing your face. I know those who are listening cannot see you, but I have the pleasure to be seeing your face after a while, so it's just great.
Thank you so much. And I know you and I connected very well less than almost a year ago, right? In April.
Yes.
With we share a common mentor, Mr. Jack Canfield. And
That's right.
And I know that you're doing wonderful work out there. And I reached out to you over the last months. I said, Abby, would you mind being on X Factors to Success podcast show? And you said, absolutely. So I'm so grateful and happy that you are here with us today.
It is my pleasure, Ruggero. Every single time that I meet somebody with exquisite energy, it is a pleasure, and yours stands out. This man, when you meet him in person, is just a vibrant personality, all heart and soul. And when we get together, we create beautiful things. So thank you, Ruggero. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you. So I'm going to start you off here with our audience is always expecting new, exciting guests. Again, like I said at the beginning, we bring unique people, and at least I think I do. And the show is still new. It's still brand new. And bringing these special people, being a top 10 list of the X Factors to Success, it's gaining traction. And with your input, with your sharing your journey today, is going to be another wonderful podcast. So, Abby, you bring a lot of passion to the world, and your energy also has gravitated lots of things. I've been reading a lot of things about you on the internet. You got a lot of things going on. So let me ask you this question. What motivates Abby Aguilera?
Truthfully, there are 2 things. I mean, one of them will be motivating other people, seeing the difference that my work makes. That is motivating. When people reach out and said, you know what, Abby, what you did or what you said or the work we did together has put me on the next level or has made me happy, that motivates me to continue going. But also what motivates me within is the sense of having a mission, and it's a mission that's greater even than myself, that carries me every day, even on days that were hard or have been hard. I always just remember, this is my mission, this is what I came here to do, and I'm doing it. There is not even a doubt.
Super. Now, I know that you've been doing many things, and many things are happening during the next few months. So, and we'll save that for a little later. But I you know, our show is about success, and there are many definitions of success, Abby. Right? So, again, to what do you most attribute your success, and what has been your most satisfying moments in your life's journey so far?
I would say following my intuition and my true path. There were times in life where I was doing things I felt, I had talents in different areas. And I think when we set our mind to do something, we can do it. But when you tap into your own intuition and you follow your heart and your intuition, you land on your passion. You land on your life's mission. And I think having made that decision has become the one thing that has led me to success. Because once you are aligned with your mission and you're doing it with purpose, you are successful at what you choose to do.
I like what you said, when you have a purpose. It's one of the
Mm-hmm.
success principles, right, through Jack Canfield, about
Right.
clarifying your purpose. It seems like you definitely have a purpose now. I know you've been through some journey, so
Yeah. And
go ahead.
oh, sorry, because you asked me. There's something more I wanted to share. You
Sure.
asked me what was like the most successful, or that I considered one of the most successful
In your journey, correct.
times in my journey. And I would say definitely there have been a few that I considered the most successful, which is accomplishing something. My graduation from hypnotherapy, from the College of Hypnotherapy, was a huge thing for me, because I was overcoming physical, emotional things just to complete it. That was just an amazing time. Also, having studied directly and been trained by Dolores Cannon herself, may she rest in peace. And
Okay.
she has been and was a great mentor. And the last one, where you and I share the same mentor, was graduating as a trainer for the Success Principles with Jack Canfield, has been my latest and very, very cherished success.
I
I'm
know
just happy about
he
it.
is so dear to my heart as well, and I've made it myself also, Abby, a major shift, especially after graduating the BTS back in April of 2017 in Philadelphia. And I tell you, this podcast show was one of my breakthrough goals, and it came to fruition. And bringing a platform to share to the world people like yourself and who are making a difference in the world, that have a clarified purpose. So before we continue on, can you just give us an overview? Therapist does in the world. How do you help people? Because there is some confusion out there sometimes that people
Yes.
may misinterpret the title.
Thank you so much for asking me, because people confuse hypnosis or stage hypnosis with hypnotherapy. And basically, hypnosis and a stage hypnosis is when somebody hypnotizes you for you to do something they
Right.
want you to do. But the hypnotherapist, the word is hypnotherapy, which is using the power of the mind while we guide a person in a deep, relaxed state through a journey, for us to help the client achieve something they want to achieve. If you were to ask me, I will say it's a guided meditation.
I love it.
It's helping the brain focus, because when we tap into that one solo thought and we concentrate and we relax, everything becomes clear, and we can create neural pathways in the brain this way. I mean, there is so much research that has been done. All the most successful people are right now using hypnotherapy to achieve success. So it's just working with the power of our minds to have more success, more peace, and to feel better and overcome trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, it's being used for so many things.
And I know you have many clients out there who have been very, very amazed by the work that you're doing out there. I've seen some great feedback and some great testimonials on your website.
Thank you.
And sure is that you're helping people, and that's what it's all about. And you have mentioned about the brain waves, and I know I've been studying a little bit about the neuro synapses and how our brain waves react to a certain degree of I mean, I'm still new to this here, but there is a wavelength, right, that we operate
Yes.
when we're conscious and subconscious, correct? So
Exactly.
are you working in that realm of consciousness?
Absolutely, Ruggero. This is so fascinating, because when I started, I also wanted to have evidence, because there's a part of me that's very analytical.
Okay.
I'm very spiritual, but very analytical. And I wanted to see why it works, not just for somebody to tell me it works. I wanted to see it. So I got to experience this biofeedback that checks the brain waves in the
Okay.
brain. And I do this quantum healing therapy, which is past life regression, that was taught to me by Dolores Cannon. And we realized that what happens is that when we are awake, when in the awakened state, our brain moves, the brain waves go 12, we have 12 brain waves
There
per
you go.
second.
That's where. Okay.
Wh-
Okay.
Right. When we are asleep, we are at 7 brain waves per second. But when we do hypnotherapy or past life regression, we are right in the middle at 9. We're neither awake nor asleep. And this is with the people being plugged in while they're having hypnosis. So what we do is that we bypass the critical mind, which creates triggers or responses or that creates the blockages. We just bypass that and we go straight to work with the subconscious mind, which is also the most conscious. It's funny that they're calling it the subconscious mind, but that is the actual awareness and consciousness that has the control over your present, your past, your future, your habits, every single thing. It's like that's the place where magic happens, Ruggero.
That's the place where magic happens. Ladies and gentlemen, did you hear that from Abby? The place where magic happens. So we need to get more about this therapist process here. So thank you so much for giving us insight in that, because I am still in that process of studying. So, Abby, I know we all go through a journey, but there is something that led you to this point in time. Can you share with us, with the audience, your biggest mistakes or failures? And I hate to use the word failures but it's a word that people use a lot. And of these failures, of these mistakes, what did you learn from?
Thank you so much. I can tell you without a doubt, because if I were to name my mistakes, we probably need a very long segment. We need to mention them in alphabetical order. But what I can tell you for sure is that every mistake I've ever made in my life has given me the greatest feedback. Because when we are being successful and we're achieving success, when things are going great, we're just being jolly and we're go happy through life. And we don't stop and say, oh, what worked, what didn't work. But when something bad happens or when something goes wrong, we sit, we reflect, and then we have the opportunity to think, what didn't go right? How could I have made it better? What was my participation? How did I create this? And then you have the opportunity to make it better, to make it right, to take on a new venture. I can tell you that I am here today because I gave myself the opportunity to think about how could I improve my life. Because when I was not aligned on my path, I was seeing things manifest in my reality that I didn't like. And those mistakes that now I know were meant to be is exactly what led me where I'm at today.
Awesome. Thank you. And one of the things that that I teach also in my workshops is, again, as we both know, on course, off course, on course, off course. And sometimes when we go off course, we need to reflect on that. Like you said, the problem is in today's society, Abby, we get so bombarded with everything around us, the news, the billboards, the traffic on the road, and just things that we get so caught up in that. And we don't take time to reflect. I'm sure you meditate. There's some kind of meditation that you probably do or reflect.
Yes.
Right, Abby?
Yes.
And I know that. Would you share with us if you do any meditation or a short meditation? What would you say about that, and how did it help you with your work?
Well, it has been proven by science that when we talk to ourselves with love and encouragement, even our muscles become stronger. Our brain becomes stronger. Our cells get healthier. So my advice to everybody, and you can do it in a form of meditation, in a form of just saying affirmations, is do not spend too much time beating yourself down. It doesn't work. It doesn't work talking negatively to our children or to people. It doesn't work putting people down, especially ourselves. So after something goes wrong, take it away. Think about what you could have done better. And this is for all of those listening. And you can either close your eyes and focus exactly on what you want and say encouraging, loving, compassionate words towards yourself. Instead of saying, oh, I failed at everything, you could say, I now find new ways to find success in my life.
That ties in with the law of attraction. Ask, believe, and receive, right? Whatever the mind can conceive, the mind will believe, right? And the more negative words we put into our minds and we believe in that, it becomes a reality. So we have to unwind that.
You barely ever find a successful person who is negative. And I just want people to think about that. The most successful people that you usually meet, they're outgoing, they are positive, they're thinking about the next thing. They don't get stuck on a mistake. They just move forward. So it's important.
Next. Well, that's awesome. Great discussion here. I'm so happy to have you, and you're just bringing a
Thank
whole new energy through the airwaves here. And I'm sure that our audience are going to love this, Abby. Going to live. So, Abby, what are you grateful for lately?
Gosh, I am grateful for my life, for my children, to have the opportunity to wake up again and make a difference in the world. I can tell you, I am grateful even for the flowers. I feel very blessed to be here today still as me and to have another opportunity at making things even better than yesterday.
I know. And one of the practices that I'm doing lately, especially again, is to have a bombardment of gratitude from the morning
Hmm.
and until I go to sleep, and be thankful. Thank me even for the simple things, the roof over my head, right? The devices that we have, the recordings that we're
Yeah.
doing, all the little things. I mean, simple little things, right?
Uh, Rogero, I'm always very grateful to God, obviously, but to my GPS too. That I feel like God created GPS for me.
And speaking about GPS, we could all agree that our internal heart is the GPS to achieve the enlightenment, to achieve joy, passion, and love in our lives. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And when we align our heart with our intuition, Rogero,
See,
the sky is the limit.
I
It's just powerful. But the heart, without a doubt, is the most powerful
mm,
thing that a human being possesses, that is physical and energetical.
I love it. So, Abby, I've hear this all the time, and even with friends and associates, they'll say, "Hey, you're so lucky. You know, that person's so lucky." You mentioned before about successful people, right? And well, he's
Hmm.
so lucky, but they don't see the journeys that they have gone through. So, do you think people are just lucky in success?
There is a little bit of a luck factor. I will say some people do have a little bit of luck, but guess what?
What's
That
that?
later on can become their bad luck because they trust so much that opportunities open that when the flow stops for them, they don't know what to do about it because they
Uh,
have no tools. So, yeah, sometimes we have a little bit of a streak of luck, but that's not what makes people successful. That just opens certain doors here and there. What makes somebody successful is the determination to continue moving forward, the determination to change habits that are making them fail or at something or that are stopping them from growing, the determination of leaving anything that is no longer aligned with whom you are or who
mm,
you want to become, is facing our fears. I had certain fears
yes,
that I wasn't willing to break. And even though I was already a life coach, and when you met me, I remember this at Breaking to Success,
yes.
that back on April,
Hmm.
my biggest thing was exposing myself in public, being vulnerable, and sharing my voice as you heard me share it. And
Yes.
that's exactly what I dare myself to do. I said, I'm going to do it because unless I face this one fear, I cannot talk to people or to people about facing their fears. And it has been the most, not just daring or courageous, but the thing that has propelled me to the next level, without a doubt.
I got to tell you, I love the fact that it was towards the end of the fifth day with BTS, right? And you went up there and sang for all of us. I was just
Yeah.
awesome. You were out there, but you saw how genuine you were out there, Abby. You were sincere, and you sang with your heart and soul, and you glowed on that stage along with Jack, and you shared that passion, that breakthrough with us. And again, this is what's leading you into this new Abby per se. Again, we always find these mini breakthroughs to get into the next level of making a difference and living your purpose. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing with that. So
Thank you.
you mentioned about habits and
Yes.
behaviors. We all have habits and behaviors. These are learned behaviors that we get from our childhood and certain things that happen in our lifetime that creates these habits. What would you say habits and behaviors that you learn most right now, and then what are you doing right now regarding some behaviors that you could share with us that you do in order to keep you focused?
Well, I learned a lot and I analyze myself on a daily basis. I'm working right now on becoming more punctual. I am a very intuitive person, so sometimes I lose track of time.
Yes.
And I'm working on becoming more organized because it's important for me to have organization with my time so that I can become more successful. It's not terribly bad. It's 5 or 10 minutes, but it's not on time. And I want to achieve on time. I mean, I achieve on time 80% of the time, but this other 20% is getting on my way. So I need to tackle it down. And also, I will say becoming more comfortable with asking. It's been a huge thing for me. I have been on my own working since I was very little, and I was kind of like a warrior defending my family or taking care, providing. And for me, learning how to ask was a huge thing, and that's also something our mentor helped me with.
Ask, right?
Ask.
And
Yes.
what did you say? Become an ask hole.
Yes, because you know what? Asking requires being vulnerable, saying it's almost like you're saying, I need help. It's that vulnerability
Sure.
and feeling naked in front of somebody
Sure.
to ask. But it's taught me that there are so many people out there that are willing to help and to be part of your journey. So when we actually start opening ourselves to ask, a new door opens up.
I can't agree with you more. I mean, I myself, that's one of my goals, to keep my agreements as far as being punctual. Keeping the agreements. And again, taking 100% responsibility for your life and results. It's the number one success principle that we all teach as well. And it comes into a lot of different little factors in this success principle. So thank you very much for sharing with that. And it reminds me also as well to be punctual. And I have a board here in my little studio of all the appointments I have for the next 30 days. And without having this board here giving me some kind of clarity, it gives me a roadmap, the GPS for my day, for my week, and for my month. So awesome. So Abby, in 2018, it was still fresh. It's a month of February here, going right into March. And what would you say? Can you share with us actually a specific goal that you have for 2018 that you're going to unroll and achieve by the end of the year?
Absolutely. I have 3 main goals, 2 being the most important ones right now. And one of them is I am promoting an expo event in Boise, Idaho, in May 25th and 26th. Is a One Soul Expo. I was guided intuitively to create this because I was seeing a lot of very gifted people who are spiritual and they don't have the tools to create success and abundance. So they're very spiritual, but they're penniless in many ways, or scrambling to get money. And then I was seeing a lot of very successful people, all just about money, and a lot of money and a little bit soulless at times. So I thought, how can I marry these two? And not everybody, it's not a generalization, but I was seeing more and more of these 2 extremes. And I created this with the heart of thinking, wow, what if the spiritual can share something positive with the people that are in business? And the people in business can teach the spiritual people how to create abundance, how to manage their money. So that is my number one goal, will be to create that venture and make it successful. I already created it, but now I have to market it and put it out there. And hopefully it being a success. That is my number one goal. My number 2 goal is presenting my book in Ontario, Canada, to Reed Tracy at Hay House in May.
Oh my God,
also.
my favorite organization, Hay House, Louise Hayes. Right, we lost her last year.
We lost her.
Oh, she's dear to our hearts as well.
I already bought my ticket. I already made that trip
So you are committed.
The ethers. I am committed.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I just have to bring my book and make sure that happens. And obviously, hopefully I'll attain what I want with that. And the last and not least is that as part of my book and my work, I want to create a CD that will go along with everything that I do. And it's going to include mantras that are saying, it's going to include guided meditations with the specific brain waves or brain stimulators with music that are going to place people in a heightened state, and it's also going to attune their chakras, their energy, but it will also have original music sang by me, which is one of my
Brava, Abby. So I love, so you have this expo, you have this book launch, right? And the CD. How
Yes.
powerful that is, right? Isn't that wonderful? So let me ask you something. Is it open for the invitation? Is it still open out there for the expo in Boise, Idaho?
And it is open, Ruggero,
Yeah.
and I would love for you to be there, honestly. You will be amazing. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying you have to. I'm kidding.
I love it. Well, I'm going to put it out there in the ether as well, too, Abby.
Yes,
Okay.
let's put it on the ether.
So I marked the calendar here, May 24th and 25th of 2018.
No, it's 25th and 26th.
Oh, 20. Yeah. And then we'll put also all this on the show notes also, Abby, okay? Make sure everyone understands and get the details. Awesome. Wow, that's powerful. That is so awesome. Well, I'm going to put it on my calendar. So what would you say, and I know many things are happening, what are you most proud of in your life lately? I know we kind of answered that already, but I want to kind of bring it back together and now with these 3 major goals that you have for 2018.
I have to tell you, for the longest, I was playing small, and I was playing the bashful role, and because I thought my gift is to encourage people. I was not stepping up into my leadership. I was telling others, you are going to be a leader. I was pushing them, but I was staying low, or I was not shining as I thought I could. And my greatest accomplishment, or what I feel super proud of, is that I have stepped up to my leadership, because that's what I was born to do. And I was not going to achieve the next level by being bashful, by staying where I was staying. I was playing on what they call it, on the sandbox, but I was not playing on the big stages. And now I have stepped up to on that leadership role, and I feel very proud of myself for having done that.
Super duper. And I know that you just accomplished another high level also with the Jack Canfield of the methodology level. So I just saw that on your Facebook page. So congratulations on that. I could see great things happening. I could see that. I could see you playing the guitar and singing on stage and really singing your heart out, Abby. Huh? And Abby,
Yes.
Will it be in English? Will it be other languages also, by any chance?
You know, it's very funny you asked, because I asked for guidance, and it's going to be a bilingual CD when it comes out. It's going to have 5 songs, 5 in English and 5 in Spanish, so that people, can rejoice from both.
Awesome. Wow, I'm just full of energy right now. I don't know what to do. I can't stand in my seat anymore. Abby, I know you do a lot of reading, a lot of research, and again, like you said, you're very academic as well. What would you say, or may I just say, what book has inspired you the most?
Well, there are many. When somebody asks me,
I know
ask about one only, but I have to say only one,
right?
And I will say why, because as of late I have other ones, but this one became almost like my archetype, and it gave me it. I felt like it was a prediction of my future, and I had to understand it. I read it when I was very young. I was like 12, and it was Jonathan Livingston Seagull, and it was written by Richard Bach. And that book is a book about shining, going to the next level. It's a self-help book. It's written as a metaphor. It's a story, but it is a very motivational book that teaches you about achieving great success and how the path to success goes with struggles, and how sometimes even family won't support you at some times, or people will push you away, but when you keep pushing forward, you're going to get to the top, and when you get to the top, you're going to meet others like you that are shining.
I have never ran across this book. So it's Jonathan Livingston Seagull, right?
Seagull, yeah.
Seagull. Oh, okay. And how old is this book, would you say, approximately?
Oh my God, that book is super old. I don't know. I mean, I read it when I was 12 years old. Obviously, barely 5 years ago. I'm kidding. No, it's been a long time. I really don't know when it was written, and I read it in Spanish because I was still living in Mexico when I read it.
Okay, well, I'm going to put this also on the show notes, and for anyone out there who is interested, like myself, this week I'm going to go out and purchase this book. I go to Amazon or wherever we go. I'm going to make sure I read this and get back to you. We could have a little discussion on a side note, Abby. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So that's one book. Now, I'm going to ask a follow-up question. What would be 3 books that you would recommend to the audience?
Yes, well, definitely, I would recommend The Success Principles that was written by our mentor Jack Canfield, and it has been.
You mean the one I'm holding
which
up
you
right now?
have right there? Yes, exactly.
I have a couple of copies, and I give them away all the time.
It really is a pathway to success. It's a blueprint to success. Anybody that wants to get to the next level should read this book. I also recommend Only Love is Real by one of my mentors as well, Brian Weiss, and this is a book about soulmates reunited. It talks about past lives and how we reincarnate and we come again. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. And the third one I would recommend is the book that I am publishing this year, which is The Path of the One. And it's a book about learning how to overcome our own fears, becoming limitless, and finding our purpose.
I love it. Did you hear that, folks? Her book will be called The Path of the One. I love the title.
Thank you.
Will I get a copy of it sometime soon?
You're going to get the copy, and I'm going to sign it to my dear friend Ruggero and his beautiful family.
Thank you. Grazie. Grazie mille. I love it. So, Abby, we've got a few more questions before we say farewell for the time being. And again, I truly am grateful for you to really share your journey and your true insights of what you've gone through and recommendations to our audience. I'm going to ask you this question. If you were conducting this interview, what one question would you ask yourself? This question sometimes stumbles a lot of people, which stumbles myself as well. So, what's one question if you were conducting an interview? What would you ask yourself?
Do I just ask or do I answer what I will answer to?
Well, what would you ask and how would you answer it?
Okay, I will ask why I want to do what I want to do. Basically, I will get to why I'm doing all of this. Why is success all of a sudden or reaching a position at the top means so much to me? And I will answer it by saying that it occurred to me that by staying small, how I was playing on the, on the playground,
right,
on the sandbox, by staying small, I was not going to be building enough credibility or authority to create the impact that I wanted to create so that I could help more people. I wasn't either going to reach the masses that I want to reach, nor was I going to make the difference in the world that I feel called to make. So my calling was get to the top so that you reach the masses, because your message is important enough, because I really want to make a difference.
That's a beautiful, beautiful response. And again, we all have a purpose, and we have to shed our gifts that we're given to give into the world. And sometimes we get stuck in a vortex of never-ending negativity. And once we find that, we have to look deeper down to our soul and get going. So, Abby, I'm going to ask you this question because it kind of ties into this here, because it's a question that you ask yourself. I'm sure you've had role models. You've had some role models. And who would you say your top 3 role models that influenced you, encouraged you, inspired you, energized you during the course of this moment in time right now?
3, I will say definitely my mother, Louise Hay, and Maya Angelou. All these 3 women have been people that I look up to for certain things, and I keep them in my heart. Their phrases, the way they went about life, how they overcame their own problems, and I really, really look up to them.
Awesome. And we getting almost close to our show here, so I'm going to keep this very short. So any last comments and or inspiring encouragements before we close and say goodbye to the audience? Give us some golden nuggets. And these golden nuggets that you're going to give, let's put it this way. 100 years from now. 100 years from now. Your book is 100 years from now, 150 years from now. What's your legacy going to leave behind? And again, and how are you going to inspire and encourage the people that have been going to your One Soul expos and talks and conversations and speeches and TV network shows and traveling the world. And what are the some inspired, encouragement words that we leave to our audience here today?
Well, I would say two things. I want people to remember that because they read my books or they heard something I said, they learned to overcome something. They learned that they were able to always choose to remain a victim of the circumstances, or they chose to rise and they chose to become a hero in their own journey. I want people to learn new ways to go about life. I am here to rattle the system, to change it, to give solutions. And if I had something to say, if I want to leave the people with something, is to remember that even if you're going through a hard time right now, it is only temporary. You have the power to overcome this. You have the power to transform it into an amazing transformative time that leads you to the greatest success. You can succeed. Dream bigger dreams and you will achieve them. Everything is possible if you believe.
Everything is possible if you believe. And there's so much resources out there that we can learn and can read if we just take 1% or 5% of our time during the day and apply it, right? So
Yes.
with that being said, Abby, share with us, where can the audience find you? Where can they go find you and look you up on the internet? Just give us all of what you got there, please.
Thank you.
Share with us.
Well, for all of those who are teachers, healers, branding experts, if you have something to teach or if you want to learn about how to get to the next level, please go to my website for the expo, onesoulexpo.com. That is one like the number one, soul like your soul, expo.com. And for anybody to find me personally, you can find me at abigailaguilera.com. I am also on Twitter as Abby Aguilera, on Instagram at the real Abby Aguilera, the real one.
The real one.
The real Abby Aguilera. And they also find me on Facebook. I have my personal professional page as Abigail Aguilera, Hypnotherapist.
And ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening in this wonderful interview with the lovely Abby Aguilera. She is just an awesome, beautiful human being, sharing her knowledge, sharing her wisdom, sharing her journey to the world. And I really hope that this interview, you really appreciated and got some insight, because she definitely brought some value here today in this interview. And we hope to have her in the very near future somehow, so maybe on a live broadcast, maybe on stage with her. We'll do something in the future. But I know that our stars are always aligned, because as Jim Rohn says, you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And today you've been spending time with Abby. And again, bringing positive, valuable, just information that puts a smile on our face, make us think. So those of you who are listening to this podcast anytime, morning, afternoon, or evening, think about what you can do, the purpose, your passion, and making a difference. So again, I want to thank you, Abby. You've been a wonderful, wonderful guest on the show. I look forward to having you again. And I may see you in May in Idaho. I have to look at my schedule. So I want to put it out on the Ethernet, okay? Like you said there. So
I love it. A pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, and I look forward to being on your show again. God bless you, Ruggero. My love to you and your family.
Thank you to it. Once again, we greatly appreciate you joining us on this podcast show. And a reminder, you can always check us out on www.xfactors2success.com, our Facebook page, and Instagram. And please drop us a note, rate, review, and subscribe, and share with your family and friends. Until next time, live with purpose, passion, and make a difference.